Hi and welcome back to my little corner of the internet. Today we are making something new out of something old, which in this case is a pair of old woolen suit pants. And what I'm going to make is a vest, and the vest pattern is from Black Snail's pattern. So what I'm starting off with is putting the pattern on the pants, trying to make it fit. This was a bit tricky because the fabric wasn't flat, because it's a pair of wool pants, but I made it work. And I luckily had just enough for the inner bits and the outer bits of the vest. And here we have the facing on. And I ended up making another vest the same day, or cutting out the other vest on the same day. You can see that on my Instagram. But here it is, all ready to be sewn. And I'm starting off with the darts. Nice and slow. And then I'm just assembling the vest, taking one piece at a time. And then of course I'm pressing all my seam allowance to make it all nice and crisp before putting it together, or putting the lining bit together with the outer bit. And I've cut up some of the darts to make it easier to iron them. You can see I just cut up the dart. And now I'm going to assemble what is going to be the inside of the vest. Then I'm going to put it together with the outside, on the collar bit and on the front bits, the ones that's going to lay over each other. And the reason why there is this white tape on the outer layer where the facing is because that's where the collar is going to be folded over. So that is to give it some strength and give it a place to fold, so it will sit nicely. And the collar was not at all hard to put on as I thought it would be, so that was a good thing. Sometimes things can seem a bit scary. Start making it, it's certainly not so scary because it ended up not being as complicated as you thought it would. And in this case, I thought the collar bit was going to be so annoying, but it wasn't, so yay! Now I'm going to put the outer bit together with the inner bit, lining up center back at the collar, and then I'm just going to sew it together. I ended up putting the lining bit on the inside on the wrong way, so I had to take that apart and put on again, but I didn't film that because I was pretty frustrated with myself because I did that. Sometimes things can go just a little too fast. And here I'm just ironing the seam allowance between the outer bit and the inner bit. And here you can see it's the collar, all nice and round, and you can see the tape, and here that little bit now fits after I took it out and put it in again. And here I'm just snipping the seam allowance at the collar bit before I turn it all right side out, and I'm doing this so it won't be all bulky at the neck. And I wasn't quite sure how I would fold in the lining bit at the side seam, because somehow it had stretched itself. The outer bit had stretched, so the inner bit was too short all of a sudden. So that was a bit tricky, and I didn't really know how to do that. That's what I'm contemplating here. That's what the heck is going wrong. I did wrong. So I ended up putting it on my dress form and then pinning it in and then cutting this little bit out and then made it all fit in the end. So yay! And now I'm going to put binding on the armholes. Here I'm trying to find my center front and where the buttons are going to go in. These are 2 rows of buttons, so it took a bit of fiddling to get it all nice and aligned. And now the big question of what buttons I'm going to choose for this one. First I was thinking maybe some gold buttons, but I didn't have enough gold buttons, even though I tried to find enough, but I didn't have. So I ended with picking out some black buttons. They are all the same size, but they are not the same design. As you can see. But I thought, heck, as long as they're the same size, then it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to be looking at my buttons anyway. Hopefully. Now I'm just going to make all the buttonholes, one at a time. Now the scary bit of opening them up. Let's put in some buttons. It takes some time putting them in, but it's totally worth the effort. And here it is on. There ended up being some scarring at the bottom of the vest from pants were hemmed, but I'm hoping it will go away in time or with time. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!